So we recently saw Beetlejuice, the sequel to Beetlejuice.
Of course. Well, there's no better naming convention than Beetlejuice for the sequel to Beetlejuice.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have all three.
Yes. And I don't remember why I started thinking about what if the ladies from the craft summoned him.
I think we were talking about crossovers that Beetlejuice could do in other spooky realms.
And it just kind of went from there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It also unlocked memories of the Covenant, which is the craft with boys.
Yeah, the boy craft.
Yeah.
With Sebastian Stan.
Mm-hmm. Not as good as the girl craft. Stick with the girl craft.
Yeah.
An original girl craft. Didn't they make a remake?
I don't remember if it was a remake or a show. I mean, a show would have been also a remake. I'm not really sure. Never saw it.
Anyway, original craft. Wonderful 90s schlock cinema.
Yes.
Ridiculous.
And here's me basically trying to draw Michael Keaton and then just putting makeup on him.
I mean, that's how Michael Keaton does it, so...
Yeah. That is true. That is true.
Oh, I'm sorry. That you didn't like that.
Not particularly. But that is true. I wanted him to be a little bit more inspired by the cartoon as well, hence the tongue.
What about the play? The Broadway show?
No.
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 So you're a big Beetlejuice fan. There's a lot of stuff Beetlejuice you like, but we went to see the play, and it was fun, and it was fine, but and the actors were not the problem. The actors all acted their heart out.
Yeah.
Everyone sang and danced so good. The script was definitely like a first draft.
The musical. Yeah, the issue is that Eddie Perfect was the writer. I think that he just hated Beetlejuice because he had talked about, I'd seen an interview where he talked about how boring Adam and Barbara are as characters. If you think Adam and Barbara are boring, you should not make a musical about Beetlejuice.
It's like when they started making comic book movies and then only tap directors who I have no respect for comic books.
Yeah, exactly. And, people love the musical, and that's good for them.
Do you think...
Yes?
Sorry to insert, but do you think the respect goes both ways? Because, specifically the musical's all about Lydia dealing with her dead mom. And in Beetlejuice, they took pains to make sure, she wasn't dead. She just wasn't there.
That's true. That is true. She's
I wonder
not
if that
dead.
was a little bit of a slapback. Just, don't fucking... No.
I don't know, because, they also, she specifically says that he's a trickster demon, which I took as just, her interpretation of him, not necessarily, because he's the ghost with the most. He never calls himself a demon. I have demons running all through me, he says in a commercial.
Yeah.
But that's not the same thing. In the musical, he is a demon. Although even then, he just keeps referring to his mother as being a demon. There are a lot of things where I think people are just reading into it.
In the movie, I take him as a very experienced poltergeist.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's fine. He doesn't have to be an actual demon or if had made a deal with anyone from the beyond. I like ambiguous, death powers and death setting.
Well, because Adam and Barbara are able to do all kinds of things that Beetlejuice is already doing, and they're newbies. So logically, if he's been around for 600 years, he knows how to do more.
Yeah. He's got to practice all this.
And we know he's a criminal. And we know that he, has these limitations put upon him with his name and all that. Now the cartoon took it a step further, and he can trap himself inside a pun just by saying the wrong thing. So...
Because everything comes out of his mouth is taken literally by reality.
Yeah. Whereas Beetlejuice in the musical is more childlike. He's a little bit more drop-dead Fred, which is fine. I'm not bothered by a lot of the things people thought I was going to be bothered by. I'm not bothered by him being a demon. I'm not bothered by Juno being his mom. I wasn't bothered by the dead mom situation. It was done fine. The things that bothered me about the musical, I recognize are very personal problems I would have. I didn't like the Girl Scout over intermission because I don't think it's a funny haha to have a disabled Girl Scout who's just trying to live a normal life as someone who was a disabled Girl Scout trying to live a normal life. I don't like the haha being that she could die at any time because other people are cruel.
There were moments of the musical that were just mean.
Yeah. Needlessly mean. And Delia bothered me a lot in the musical. Charles is entirely different. Everybody's entirely different. That's fine. The issue is, if you're gonna have Otho technically be a character, you need him to do literally anything. And they didn't have him do anything. So instead, you have Delia as now a life coach, hired by Charles, also sleeping with Charles, and she keeps quoting this Otho off screen over and over and over. That's all of her lines, is this other man. So she's just beholden to two different men, and she doesn't actually have a personality. And I hated that version of Delia. If they had cut Otho out entirely, again, the actor was great. If they had cut out the character, because he was just a superfluous character at that point, and let her be the life coach, let all the things she said were him just be her, I think it would have been fine.
I mean, for the amount he was in it, you could have left him off screen. It would have been fine. It didn't really change much.
Well, that's my point, is I don't think he should have been in it at all.
Yeah.
Which, I had that problem with the sequel to Beetlejuice too, but it's fine. It's fine. And people love the musical so much, and it's fine. There are people who hate the cartoon. That's fine. I don't know.
We liked the sequel.
Yes.
But part of why we like the sequel, I realize modern audience might not like the sequel, because the sequel is very much a movie in the vein of the original Beetlejuice. And if you haven't seen it in a while, the original Beetlejuice is chaos. That script is Lego pieces put together by a distracted child.
And in the first script, he was a demon, because there was also an angel. And he wound up tying up the angel and taking the angel's place.
Yeah, no, the first Beetlejuice movie was one of those things that was saved in editing.
Yeah. And, well, we haven't left the house since the funeral. And I know our friend was saying, well, they could have had a funeral in the house. Fine, but they didn't, and we know they didn't.
They also have not left the house.
They showed up right after they died, and then they're talking about how they don't know where to put them in the tiny little cemetery in his model, because they didn't see a funeral.
Yeah.
It's... The two scenes don't work together. And it's fine, you don't really notice it when you're watching it.
That's the thing, is if you're enwrapped in the movie, you don't notice those little mistakes.
No.
Also, at the time, there wasn't a CinemaSins who was going to run a 45-minute video about your movie.
I refuse to watch the CinemaSins on Beetlejuice.
Oh, absolutely, because it doesn't fucking matter.
No. I know every blooper. I know all the behind the scenes. I don't need some layman trying to come in. No. He doesn't know Beetlejuice like I do.
Some lame-ass theater major who couldn't make it, just going to other people's work and being like, ding!
Yes. And everything is a ding if you're not getting a lap dance. That's a big thing they do.
I remember we originally watched them because they had some funny writing, and then we stopped and we watched about movies we liked and went, no, you just weren't watching the movie.
Yeah.
They explain this. These are things that are explained through small, subtle dialogue things and character traits and background, and you're not paying attention because you're just trying to rack up dings.
Right. I like Cinnamon Wins. I
Yeah.
like that they happened in response.
The reaction to it is just like, no, things are good, shut up.
Yeah. And when I was drawing Beetlejuice, I'm looking at, as many references as possible, and realized that I actually didn't understand what was going on his left wrist at all. I knew that he had something. I think I always thought it was just extra mold or something, because it was a movie from the 80s. I'd usually seen it on TV or VHS, and the quality wasn't perfect.
We were watching it on tiny tube TVs.
Yeah, and
on VHS quality.
I didn't realize he's wearing 4 watches.
Which we talked about, if I kind of want to look out for this. When he meets Adam and Barbara, does Adam have a watch, and does that watch disappear for the rest of the movie? Because that would be funny.
That would be funny. We need to rewatch it, because...
We just need to look out, is Adam wearing a watch, and does it disappear?
I'm sure that's not what happens, but I hope it... that would be nice. That'd be funny. Because he's got a bunch of watches!
And again, because it was saved in editing, I don't expect it to be consistent, but I will take it as truth if he is wearing a watch, and then certain scenes later he's not.
Yeah, because, I'm sure there was a gag. That got cut. Either in the script or just on the cutting room floor in general. And I appreciate this movie. I do. I appreciate this movie for all its chaos. And I don't need things to really be explained. The sequel does explain some things that, it's fine. But it also made more questions happen for me, which is also fine. I don't think there should be a third one. I know Tim Burton has said that he doesn't want to do a third one, so we'll see what happens. It's made a lot of money.
Well, that's the thing, is that the sequel has topped the box office for 3 weekends straight. They're going to make a third one. It's going to be one of those things, remember the Matrix, Reloaded or something?
Yeah.
Where, the subtext was they were going to make a new Matrix anyway, so we might as well,
well, I
make the one we want.
I liked that one more than I liked the actual third Matrix.
No, fair.
Like, it was a good movie.
But, like, the subtext of that movie is that they're going to make new Matrix movies, and they won't necessarily have good messages if, like, the corporate is involved.
Right.
So I feel that Beetlejuice 3 is probably going to be not Tim Burton and not good. But it's going to happen in the next 5 years, is my bet.
It could be good if they let Winona Ryder be in charge. Because this is a woman who has her headcanons about Beetlejuice and Lydia and their relationship. And honestly, I want her to go for it. I want to see that madness.
Let Winona Ryder write it.
Or direct it. Like, let her just do her thing.
Has she done director credits?
I have no idea. I don't know
if she's done writer credits either.
I just assume she can do whatever she wants.
Well, she can. Let Winona Ryder do whatever she wants. She's an icon.
Yeah, seriously. But I know she is a Beetle Babe. Beetle Babe being the name for people who ship Beetlejuice and Lydia.
Hey, babes.
Yes. And
you know you love me.
And apparently, she thinks that they should wind up together. And when Michael Keaton is asked about it, he's just like, I don't know, just ask Winona. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's slight emotional spoilers. Beetlejuice 2 felt like the breakup movie.
It did.
To like, divide them.
It did.
Beetlejuice 3 could just be like Beetlejuice doing anything else that does not involve the Dietz family.
Yeah. I appreciate this movie a lot. It is my... Like, it's very rare to have an actual favorite movie. And I feel like it would either be Beetlejuice or, at least for a while in my life, The Wolfman, like from the 40s.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's a good choice. Where does The Craft rank? Because that's the crossover you did, so...
The Craft is not one of my favorite movies, but I appreciate it.
Okay.
I appreciate it because it reminds me of my time in high school. Take that as you will. I think that's normal. I think that's normal for teenage girls, right? Everyone was The Craft. Is that not normal? Is that not what people are supposed to do?
The people I talk to, there seems to be... I'm fairly sure this is not universal, and some people did have a good time in high school. But the people I know in high school, everyone identified with the outcast. Everyone felt like they were being super judged by everyone else, and no one liked them. And it's like just the brain chemicals that are getting pumped into you by puberty, I think.
So, yeah.
But like some people I'm sure had a good time in high school. I just don't talk to those people, and I assume they're bad.
So that, and what I meant was like using Ouija boards and being witches.
I mean, I think everyone has that
I
phase.
think that's like normal girl stuff.
I hand transcribed a version of the Necronomicon I found online.
Yeah.
So, like, I think we all of us weirdos had our, like, spooky phases. I never, like, really believed in, like, summoning spells or anything, but I thought wouldn't it be neat if it did?
I think it's a want for some power in your life.
Yeah.
When you're otherwise powerless. In a world where, like, maybe your parents are saying you can't dye your hair or even you have so little control over anything. I think that's what happens, is you want some sense of control.
And in the more patriarchal history of certain areas, like, witchcraft was where powerful women were found. They were just villainized.
Yeah. Oh, even, like, women who were the people you went to for, like, medicine, very basic, like, cures.
Yeah.
And they were just considered...
Herbologists, midwives, and the like.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then men gave each other degrees and doctorates and said, I know what's going on there. And mortality of women in childbirth skyrocketed.
Yep.
Because men did not know what was going on down there. They were just too self-assured.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And they still weren't washing their hands.
They're so true.
Because that's, unfortunately, a super modern concept in medicine, is washing your goddamn hands.
But yeah, no, what about you? Where does Craft rank?
The Craft was definitely one of the first things I bought on DVD.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I liked it, and there were very few movies coming out on DVD, and also I shopped the bargain bin a lot. So let's be clear. The Craft was a movie that definitely was like a cable television movie, but I liked it. I thought, given what was available at the time, I thought the story of these girls doing magic, they weren't cutesy with it. It wasn't Sabrina the Teenage Witch with like glowing dust trails. The magic was very subtle in a lot of cases. So I thought that was like a better depiction of how this sort of thing would play out.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so I appreciated that. I realized part of that's probably a budget thing because computer graphics at the time cost so much.
Well, and they were terrible anyway.
Yeah.
So
And
practical.
they
way.
looked bad. So I think that helped it, like, stay more relevant, is that the practical effects that they were forced to do with their budget.
Yeah, well, Beetlejuice too. The original Beetlejuice was all practical effects, and then the sequel, Michael Keaton said, "Listen, I'll do this if there's practical effects, if there's an actual set. I don't want to be in front of a green screen all the time."
And it made it look so much better.
So much better, and I hope it makes, because of the success of it, I hope it makes the people in charge of the industry go, "Oh, maybe we should make any kind of prop that's real."
Well, the thing is, like, for quite a while, like, there's been this skew towards, like, digital effects being cheaper than practical effects.
Yeah.
But what they've done is they've stopped making practical effects, so then you have when you get to the credits on a lot of modern movies, it's, like, actors, director, producer, music, and then 5 pages of digital artists, and, like, you can't tell me that's cheaper than a puppet.
At this
You
point now.
cannot tell me that that's cheaper than a wet latex puppet. And honestly, the wet latex puppet at least has some charm to it.
That's true.
Because, like, the actors can react to it earnestly, and it, like, looks proper in a scene because the camera's reacting to it also.
So this is the most bullshit background I've ever done. They're just in a
Yay!
box. They're in a cracking box.
I like how he's flailing and there's bugs just flying out of his of his sleeve. He was just saving them for later. Ah!
And I tried to give him different reactions. I think
Yeah.
I could have pushed Beetlejuice himself in terms of his pose, in terms of his expression. But,
I think it's a good middle ground between the two, though, because
Yeah.
the craft didn't have, like,
cartoon.
yeah, it didn't get Roger Rabbit.
Amazingly, the craft didn't have a 90s cartoon.
Yeah,
Everything else did.
RoboCop had 2 apparently.
Rambo had a cartoon.
Rambo had a children's cartoon.
Yeah. But yeah, so, Beetlecraft,
Beetlecraft,
stiff as a beetle.
Craft Juice,
Rock on.
rock on.